It's really hard to know where you're trying to go if you don't know where you are. Hello, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I want to share the 5 types of questions you can use to reconnect with yourself, whether you're reflecting on the past year or checking in at any point along the way. As I'm recording this, we are in the time between Christmas break and New Year's where suddenly everybody wants some sort of clarity and direction, 5-year plan by the end of Tuesday. It's also a lot of the time where you're going to see a lot of goal setting videos, a lot of goal setting advice or worksheets or things like that. People put a lot of pressure on setting goals for 2026. And while I truly believe that goal setting is excellent for my personal wellness, I'm going to be honest and tell you that I am not a huge goal setter. But when I do set goals, something that I find incredibly helpful is reflecting before I actually set the goals. And over time, I've slowly been building a list of questions or journal prompts that help me understand where I am so I can decide where I want to go next. That's because I find goal setting to be incredibly overwhelming. And especially around this time of year, there's a lot of pressure on setting goals. And I often feel like what I do is I don't really focus on the things that I want or the things that I think would benefit my life. I focus on the things that I don't have. Now, I definitely set goals, but the thing that I like to do before I set those goals is I like to do a big reflection. What this reflection is primarily designed to do is to have me focus on where I am and what I've been doing from the last year. Because a lot of the times I feel like I can get caught up in the moment and caught up into the things that I want versus the things that have already happened to me. And it's really hard to know where you're trying to go if you don't know where you are. So over time, what I've done is I've started slowly building a list of questions that help me understand where I am. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm not going to go through all the questions. There's 25 of them, but I will leave a link for you in the description of this video, and you can click on it at any time, save it, bookmark it, whatever you need to do. Instead, what I've done is I've taken the 25 questions and I've divided them into subcategories of bigger types of questions. So each subcategory has 5 of the questions in, and we're going to talk about those 5 categories in this video today, and I'll show you how these questions fit in, why it's important. I'll even come up with some insights and stuff that you may or may not discover along your reflection journey. Now, if you've been watching the channel for a while or you've seen any of my other videos, you know that I like to journal. For this exercise, I've turned it into a journaling exercise, but I also know that journaling isn't for everyone. So what I'm going to do, because it's the holiday Christmas special episode, is at the end of this video, I'm going to share my favorite low pressure way to do a journaling exercise. And I'm actually going to walk you through this. You're going to do it with me if you so choose. Now, before we dive in, I want to offer just a few gentle reminders to support you in meeting yourself where you're at. If at any point you're not feeling it or something starts to feel heavy, you're allowed to move on. You're not really doing this for anyone but yourself, so just stay focused on what that means to you. If you open up the 25 journaling questions and you're not sure where to begin, just go with whatever pulls your curiosity, and you can skip all the other ones. You don't have to do any of this in order. All of the questions will still be there forever. You might be the type of person who does 1 question a day, 1 question every Sunday, or a question in the morning and a question at night. Consistency doesn't really have a single shape. Again, just meet yourself where you're at. You don't have to answer all of the questions. You don't have to do, as I said earlier, you don't have to do them in order. Just start with the one that you notice something is coming up for you. And as always, there's no right way to do this. Treat this as an exploration. This is not a guide. This is not a how-to. This is not the way to reflect. Just a way. Show up, sit with yourself, and see what happens. With that, let's begin. So the first type of question we're going to reflect on are the who types of questions. Because a lot of our inner world is shaped by the people that we're close with, and sometimes the people that we're no longer close with. Reflecting on who, it can show you where you feel safe, where you shrink, where you've grown, and where something might feel maybe unfinished. Keep in mind, you're not judging or ranking a relationship, you're just noticing how it makes you feel. I find that who types of questions are the most difficult for me. I find that it brings out the most honest version of myself, and looking at who drains me more than I've expected, or who I've outgrown, and the types of people that I might quietly be missing is really impactful and honestly quite difficult. When you reflect on who, you might often find, or at least for me, that I find things that I need more of. So whether it be more connection, more space, more boundaries, or more repair. The next group of questions that we're going to reflect on are what questions. What I personally find the most interesting about what questions is it's about naming the stuff that's usually running in the background of your life. This can be your thoughts, your habits, your energy, maybe the things you've been putting off. So often we move through our days on autopilot and we're kind of reacting versus noticing. I find that reflecting on what often slows that down. What's actually taking up space in my mind? What's quietly helping and what's slowly wearing me down? Clarity here comes from telling the truth and noticing what's already there. Which brings us to the when types of questions. If you've been paying attention, you will notice that there's a theme going on here. When is really interesting because timing tells a story. Looking at when can help you spot patterns without blaming yourselves for them. You might notice that certain times of day, certain seasons, they hit harder than others. For me, I am very much a summer months kind of person. When the winter comes around and things start getting dark at 4:30, I usually go into hibernation mode. When I go into hibernation mode, I'm very unmotivated. And when I get unmotivated, a lot of guilt and shame and sort of negative thinking around, myself being lazy and things like that come up. Shout out to my fellow seasonal depressioners. I see you and things will get brighter, I promise. The other interesting thing that I find when I reflect on when questions is I can notice things that I've already survived or moments that I've already gone through that I honestly didn't think that I could. It's important to know that reflection here isn't about reliving the past. It's about understanding how you got here and what you might want to protect going forward. Next, we're going to look at where questions. This is about the physical, emotional, mental, or even spiritual space. It's even about your actual environment and the environments that you put yourself into. With where questions, you're noticing where do you feel calm? Where do you feel tense? Where do you go when you need to breathe? And what do you avoid even if you can't quite explain why? Something I find really interesting with where questions is I notice that sometimes my surroundings, they hold more information than my actual thoughts. So for example, there are physical places or environments, when I'm there, they actually make me feel softer or more welcomed, a lot of positive energy, where there's others that make me feel like I'm rather in survival mode or that I'm unwelcomed or there's this sort of unspoken tension when I'm there. And when I really sit down and focus on reflecting on where, I often notice that there are environments that support me and some that drain me. This really helps because sometimes it's not about changing your life or your actions or your behaviors. Sometimes it's as simple as just changing your environment. And finally, my favorite types of questions are the why questions. This for me is where meaning really starts to surface. This is where you can notice why certain patterns keep repeating, why some things are harder to let go of, why does rest feel uncomfortable, why certain values matter maybe less or more than others. The neat thing here is you don't need clean answers. If you can just explore with friendly curiosity, a lot of the why questions for myself often lead me to other things that I'm doing or not doing. They even pair really well with the other questions that before, the who, what, when, and where. And I just like to point out, you're not trying to interrogate yourself. You're asking yourself why questions to understand yourself, hopefully with more compassion. And honestly, at least for me, when I understand my why, it becomes easier to choose what comes next and how to release things that just don't fit me anymore. So there you have it. Those are the 5 types of questions that you can reflect on, whether you're ending your year and trying to find new meaning or new progression into the next one. Honestly, it doesn't matter what time of year it is. If you're not a huge goal setter, give this a try. Try reflecting often, maybe try reflecting now and then once a few months later. I honestly find this exercise to be really cathartic, and it really just helps me sort of bring awareness to where I am so that I can look forward or plan or set the goals with intention that are really gonna serve me best, or what I think will be best for the future. All right, and with that complete, we're now going to go through the journaling exercise that I use. This is my favorite journaling exercise. I really hope that this helps you as well. So what I want you to do first is go into the description and grab the link to the 25 journal prompts for reconnecting with yourself. When the page opens, pick one question from the list of 25. You can pause this video if you need to, and again, meet yourself where you're at. If you feel ready to go deep, follow that thread. If you're still just testing the waters, choose something closer to the shoreline. But once you've got your question picked out, you're going to set a timer. We're actually going to do this, so I'm actually going to set a timer on my phone. And for this exercise, you're only going to set it for 1 minute. Honestly, for me, I would do 3, 5, or 10, but I don't want this video to be that long. So for now, we're just going to use 1 minute for the exercise. The journal exercise that we're going to do, you may have heard of this. It's called a brain dump. It has tons of different names, morning pages, things like that. Here's how it works. So for the full minute, you're going to write without stopping. Don't lift your pen, don't edit, don't worry about spelling, grammar, or whether any of this makes sense. If your mind goes blank, just write that. Write, I don't know what to write, or anything that comes into your mind until something else shows up. The only real rule for this is that you keep writing for the full minute and stop as soon as the timer goes off. So if you're mid-thought, if you're mid-writing, you're not quite through a word or a sentence, stop. This whole exercise isn't about trying to be insightful. It's about getting what's in your head out onto the page. So you're also going to see me, I'm going to be looking down because my journal's in the lap. But when you're ready, I'll say start. I will click the timer. And when it goes off, I'll tell you when to stop. Ready? Start. Okay, time to stop. So I probably should have mentioned this before, but the question that I chose was a why question, and I chose why do you think you're feeling the way that you're feeling right now, which I thought was really interesting because earlier in the morning I was doing this reflection kind of on the same thing, and when I did it in this moment, it was really weird because I had this out-of-body experience where I'm writing internally, but I can see myself on camera, and I know this is going to go on to YouTube and live forever and things like that. So I just thought it was really interesting and really fun. Now, if you've never done a brain dump before, congratulations, you did one. But if you have heard of this, or you have done this, or you've explored this in any way, shape, or form, oftentimes the advice is to don't go back and read what you wrote. And if that feels right for you, that's awesome. You just completed your first brain dump. Congratulations. But for the sake of this particular exercise, if you do want to go back and explore a little more, that's okay too. Sometimes things that I do is I will lightly scan what I wrote and I will try to notice something that stands out. So it could be a word, it could be a sentence, it could even just be like a feeling that I didn't realize that was there. And if something catches my attention, I might highlight it and spend a bit more time with it later. Maybe see if I can understand it more. The key here is you're aiming for flexibility. You're just trying to get whatever comes up onto the page. And as you explore this practice more, try a few different approaches. Try to adjust the timer, change your environment, just honestly explore what supports you. One of my favorite things to do on warm days, it's the middle of winter right now, but on warm days, I like to go somewhere with a nice view or near a river, and I like to try these exercises there and just see what happens. From there, if you're thinking about setting goals for the new year or for whatever time of year it is and you're struggling, you can use these reflections as sort of a compass, maybe to guide you in making and setting those goals. And there you have it, the 5 types of questions you can ask to reconnect with yourself, close out 2025 and begin 2026, or wherever you're at. Don't forget to grab the full list of 25 questions below. And if you want to see another video on personal wellness or peer support, just click one of the boxes that pops up. I'm Jeff Turner, and remember to take care of yourself however that looks to you.